at the time. It's cool though. It's cool. Guys, I hope you having a great start to the new year. We are rocking and rolling over here at Hydra. Got some really great content rolling out for you guys. More short form content, long form content, written content. It is all coming, free resources, all that good stuff. Hoping you guys build better, stronger agencies. So really excited for this new year. We have a lot of fun stuff rolling out. We are over investing into content this year. Tyler, we just got a new lens. We're super stoked on it. He's in here with me right now, shooting a little B-roll footage so we can roll out even more short form content for you guys. So really excited with the trajectory that we're going this year. It's just going to be full organic this year. You're also going to see some new type of lead gen strategies coming from us this year as well. So really excited to roll those things out to you guys. So as usual, agency therapy, you guys have questions as we go along today, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. Today, we're going to be covering a little bit more of an elementary topic, something that a few people have asked me about, especially on the starter side. So if you guys are just getting started in the agency space or even just in any service-based business, I think this would be relatively applicable to you guys. Now, I will say for agencies that are like a little bit more advanced, like I really just don't think that this is going to be the topic for you today, but I have had a few people ask me about this. And so I wanted to hammer it home because this is going to be a good starting point for other videos that we're going to be launching in the past. So actually, we'll have a video dropping tomorrow on the YouTube channel that will piggyback this specific live stream. So it'd be really nice. It's going to be very parallel with what we're going to be posting tomorrow. And today's topic is, of course, building a CRM inside of ClickUp, which is like kind of like a head turn when it comes to actually what we utilize CRMs for. Normally, you're not going to build a CRM inside of ClickUp, but if you are like just getting started in the space and you're like, Joshua, I just need a place to manage my leads. I don't have an extra $300 per month. I don't have, whatever HubSpot costs now. It's so freaking expensive. Like I just don't have the capital to invest into a CRM. Well, I wanted to help you guys build out something that will at least help you manage some inbound leads, maybe some referrals, and so you can start scheduling things like follow-ups and start scheduling meetings with people. So we're going to work on building that today. But before we go ahead and jump in and build on that, there are two sides of the CRM that I want to explain to you guys. uh our closed bill is $2,700 per month. Yeah, exactly, man. Like it starts to rack up, right? And at the end of the day, it's like there's nothing wrong with paying a high bill for a CRM, especially with Paul with being on Iman's team, of course. Dude, it's like you know they're closing a tremendous amount, and so eventually, yes, it does make sense for you to build out a more robust CRM. It does make sense to utilize all the tools and resources that a lot of these great CRMs do have. But man, if you're just getting started in the space, and you're like, I just need a quick fix. I just need something that's temporary for me to get to like say 10K per month. Like that seems to be a good range to kind of be at when you buy your first CRM or get into it. Because a close.io I think is like $99 per month for like one user. Um, Go high level 300 bucks per month. What's kind of nice about Go high level is that your bill doesn't change based off how many users that you have. So if you have a bunch of closers, Go high level actually will allow you to add on more users. I don't know exactly if they have like differentiating billing or not, but I know it's like $300 base and it comes with like the full suite of everything that they offer. HubSpot is like crazy insane. They're super expensive. You can get like a base package with them, but I don't know. I just don't like HubSpot. It's just not my jam. So with all that being said, I want to help you guys build out a little bit of a CRM today. Give you some of the basics, some of the things that I feel like might need to be inside of a CRM. But before we do that, I want to quickly touch on two CRMs. Okay, and this is something that you're gonna see um, as you're building out your guys' systems for your agency, is that you're essentially going to have two types of CRMs. Okay. And I want to bring up my Miro board real quick, and then that way I can share screen with you guys and you guys can get a good view of this as well. So give me 2 seconds here. Probably should have this pulled up beforehand, but all right, got it pulled up now. So let me share my screen. We'll jump into it. I'm going to turn my Nashville cam off here. We'll get into a little share screen with you guys. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, let me know. Would love to know that you're here and jamming with us today. Excited for all of the live streams that we're going to be rolling out this year. All right. So let's go ahead and jump in and let me just make sure here. Okay, I'm still on the screen, which you love to see. Okay. Uh, And let's just go ahead and grab one of these little blocks here just to start building off of. If you guys aren't familiar with Miro, Miro is, I believe you can set up an account for free, but it's a really nice whiteboard tool. If you guys are familiar with ClickUp at all, ClickUp also has a whiteboard feature. It's just not as robust as Miro is, but I think Lucid Chart is the other one that's actually halfway decent. So if you guys like building out like cool flows and kind of game planning systems for your agency or your business, Miro is a great place to get started with that. It has a lot of capabilities. It's really cool. You can do some mind mapping, all that good stuff. So big fan of Miro. If you guys have not used it, I've used it multiple times on these streams. So if this is your first time here, you'll see a lot of the stuff happening inside the live stream. So essentially, there's two types of CRMs. Okay. What two types of CRMs? What does that even mean? Great question. Well, we have two types of CRMs, and the first one is going to be a prospecting CRM, and then the second one being a true CRM. And the YouTube video I'm going to be dropping tomorrow is a true CRM, or what I would consider a true CRM, which is a client relationship manager, right? And a client relationship manager, like, and this is where I'm like really confused on where CRMs like why didn't we just give it a different name? Like, why didn't we call it like a prospecting relationship management or something? Because that's what like a true CRM actually is now. Like when everyone thinks or hears of CRM, they always think, "Oh, this is like the marketing side. This is like the I'm taking like my sales pipeline and all of those pieces," which yes, it is. But at the same time, there is like a CRM on the side of like an internal, like these are the clients and this is how we manage our clients. So there's a differentiator there. And I just wanted to point that out right at the beginning of like you can have two types of CRMs. You can have a prospecting CRM. You can also have a more like client relationship management CRM, which is like essentially something completely different. Like those are clients that you've already signed and you have to manage them on a daily basis. So that's the two sides of it, or at least that's the two sides that I see when it comes to CRMs. And there has to be a differentiation between what you use each of these for. So once again, prospecting CRM, it's exactly how it sounds, right? So like this is where you're managing your leads, your pipeline, all of that good stuff, right? This is where you're doing all your follow ups. Okay. And there's a lot of things that happen inside of the prospecting CRM, and we won't go like super in depth on everything, but it's like, if you actually bought a CRM, I mean, you could have everything from email follow ups that send out of here. You can have, you know, text message, like SMS that sends out of here, sequences. So, like, if you built out, like follow up SMS sequences, if you did, reminder sequences, right? For if you book a call with someone to remind them to follow up. Like all of this stuff can be done inside of like a really solid CRM. Whereas in the opposite side, okay, the more like the actual client relationship management, okay, this might hold like contracts, this might hold deliverables, okay, agreement dates. If you want to learn more about this side of the table of like how to actually manage your clients on a day-to-day basis, I'm releasing a video tomorrow that will cover this. Okay. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. That would be super helpful. Would appreciate that. But this is what the video tomorrow will cover. Today, what we're going to cover is the prospecting CRM leads, pipeline, all of that good stuff. Now, with that being said, ClickUp is not a true CRM. Okay. This is not going to do all of the cool things that HubSpot, Close, that Go High Level do. This is the getting you started template for jumping into a CRM. This is hey, I'm doing under $10,000 per month. I don't really have the capital to invest into a CRM. So this is the route I need to go. I need to keep track of my leads somehow, even though I'm not getting, too many right now. This is how we're keeping track of these things. Okay. So little caveat there. Just keep that in mind as we're building this out. No, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. So if you're in a CRM currently, this probably isn't super applicable to you, but for some of our beginner agencies, I think this is actually going to be very helpful. Okay. So let's go ahead and actually jump in and start building out some of the stuff here. Okay. Now, got my ClickUp board here, and you guys can't see that, but let me reshare my screen here and pull up the ClickUp board. Okay. All right. Boom. So here's our ClickUp board. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys from scratch here, and I've got my test space down below here, and hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, maybe I can blow it up just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. But down here, I've got my test space, and this is something that I would just probably put into a list. I don't think you truly need a folder from this, and there's actually CRM templates inside of ClickUp. I don't really like them, so I'm going to build one from scratch. Okay. Yo, what's up, Dylan? Hope you're doing well, man. Excited for this one. Awesome. Hope you caught some of the beginning pieces, but appreciate you tuning in, man. Hope you're doing well. So let's go ahead and just start a list here. I'm just going to build this list inside of the space, and we're just going to put this as a prospecting CRM. Okay. And so, when you guys are starting your prospecting, and of course, there's so many different styles of lead generation. And for the most part, when people start their agencies, like how do they get their first clients? Well, maybe it's like friends, family. Maybe it's like you're doing some cold outreach to people, and you're having to keep track of maybe like a small list, right? Of people. Okay. And so when we look into the CRM here, and I'm gonna pull up just a little my notes here. That way, I have everything that I need. Okay. I think the best place to start with this is going to be the statuses. Okay. And you're going to have a couple different statuses when it comes to a prospecting CRM. And you could also build this out inside of inside of a regular CRM as well. Normally you could name your statuses that you're moving them through the sales pipeline, right? So essentially the first thing that you're going to potentially do is kind of have just like a lead in. Okay. What does lead in mean exactly? And I'm only going to do it for this list only. Okay. Sorry, it didn't save. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. So lead in. Sometimes ClickUp's a little finicky. Should we change the statuses for this list prospecting CRM or the entire space? Um, yeah, just this list. Okay. I don't know why it's not changing. It's being funky. Okay. It should. Oh, okay. I just need to refresh it. Hold on. Okay. There it is. It changed. Sometimes it takes a minute. Okay. So lead in is the first piece of kind of like building out this CRM. Now, what does lead in mean exactly? Well, lead in would just be our ability to attract a new leader, a new prospect, right? And so this can happen through a couple different avenues. But probably what the most beneficial thing would be is actually building out a form view inside of ClickUp, right? And so this form view is kind of like where our lead would come from. And this would allow you to start capturing the lead. Okay. And this would be like a lead intake form. Okay. Relatively simple, nothing too crazy. You could also do this like within Jotform or something along those lines. But essentially, this is like someone getting a hold of you. So you could put this lead intake form inside of your website, inside of a free resource that you dropped on Twitter, and you want people to you want to capture maybe an email, a name, and maybe a phone number, right? And then you can call on those leads, or you can email those leads directly based off of this lead intake form. Okay. And so that kind of brings us back to the list in the different columns that we'll need to build out. And then we'll start naming some of the other statuses here in just a second. But this lead in is going to need a couple different columns here. Okay. And this can change. You don't really need a priority status, and so we'll just get rid of that for the time being. But you'll want an assignee because you'll want someone to assign the specific lead to at some point, and then you want to keep the due date because we might utilize that for follow ups or the last time that we contacted someone and we want to set a follow up date for them. So as we kind of scroll through here, one thing that we'll definitely want is their email. Okay, we'll just name that email. That's relatively self-explanatory there. So that way we can email these people if they end up downloading a resource or they go to our website and they want to fill in our form. Okay, and then from there, maybe we fill out something else here. Let's take a peek here. Maybe we want their phone number in there as well, so we can give them a call. And let's see, anything else? Anything else? Maybe we put a specific text in there as well, or a drop down based off of like the service that you have or what they're interested in as far as your services go. So, and once again, you can adjust these columns to whatever it is that you want to. So, maybe this is just service. that they're looking for. Okay. And maybe it's you have a three-tiered service. You have creative service, you have Facebook ads, and you have what's the third one? Maybe social media management. Okay. Maybe those are the three services that you offer, and you just want to know, hey, like, what are these prospects most interested in? Are they most interested in creative, Facebook ads, or social media management? Or maybe it's a combination of all three. Okay. So that's essentially how you could build out the columns for this. Okay. And we might elaborate a little bit more on this in just a second. But from that, you'd build out your intake form of some sort. Okay. And the intake form, what's really nice about this is that you can just drag and drop all the pieces from your list or from your columns and just drag them over here. Normally, the task name is going to be the company name or the person's name itself. So if you wanted both of those, you would have to add a text column, but text name, we'll just put his company name for the time being. Okay. And then email, service, phone number, all of that. Okay. And let's go ahead and add to the list real quick. Let's add a text column here and let's just put full name. Okay. And that will be our last one. And I'm just going to drag this down here because I like to know the full name as the first column, and then we'll add it into the intake form. Go back to the editing view here. Okay. So it'll go full name, and it'll go company name, email, service, phone number. Okay. That's a pretty basic lead form. You might want to add a little bit more detail into that. So feel free to play with that as needed. Okay. And then you can also view the form and what it looks like here. So if you want to get a little bit more customized, I hate anything that is on the light theme. So we're always going to change it to the dark theme. And we want to put that Hydra purple in there, okay, for the branding. So now it looks nice and on brand. And I think you can actually get rid of this ClickUp um, icon as well. Um, okay, it's already off. Perfect. So I don't think that'll show up when it comes to the actual viewing. Okay. Now let's jump back to the list. So say we do have someone that fills out our form, right? So let's go ahead and just practice one real quick. Okay, company is Hydra. Email. Okay. Service. What service do I want? I'm looking for creative services, and I think there's actually a way if you wanted to be able to have a multi-select here, you could do that. Simply by adding a different column view, I believe. So if we went back in here and we just built out instead of a drop down, you would use a label instead, and you could do it that way. So if you want them to be able to multi-select, go ahead and just add a label. Don't add a drop down. Okay. But for the sake of time here, we're just going to leave that as creative. I'm looking for creative services, and I'm going to put my number in here and then submit. Yep. And boom, submission goes through, and then it should populate here on your list. Boom, there it is. Okay, company Hydra gonna populate as the specific task. Okay, now you can set up an automation here. Relatively easy to assign this to someone. So say we wanted to automate this. So always assign the task. It's actually the first thing that comes up to me. Okay, and then watchers is just basically someone that, if you want them to get notifications on this task, you can. I don't do it, but that's essentially the first automation. So when this populates, it will, anytime a new task comes in, it will populate me as the assignee. And so when the new lead comes in, I know that this lead is ready to be contacted. So if you had like a setter or something that needed to reach out to this, you would put them as the assignee, and then they could go out and actually reach out to these people via email or phone number, depending on whatever the system is that you want. Now, the second thing that you might want to do is automate the date here, because you want them to reach out relatively quickly. Now, I know a lot of people that that reach out, their setters reach out to people within like the first 5 minutes of them coming in as a lead. Okay, if you don't want to go that intense, say like it is just you and your business, and you can't reach out to someone 5 minutes from them filling out an intake form. Okay, well that makes sense, but maybe it's like 24 hours, right? That we want to do that. So we would just set up another automation here that's relatively easy. Okay, we come to dates. Okay. Or I'm sorry, we would do creation. Okay. And then from there, sorry, sometimes it takes me a second to find these. Um, show a couple more here. And we might just have to make a new one. Okay, I don't see it on here, so it looks like we might just have to make it, which is totally fine. So custom automation. So for this, it's when task is created. So we'll find when task is created, which is right here. Okay, and we'll just keep all of those selected. So when task is created, we're going to change the date. Change due date. Okay, and then the due date will be, and I'm sorry, we don't want to choose the date, days after trigger, and we'll choose 1 day after trigger. Okay. So if we do trigger a new task, and I'm just going to do this one here as a test, okay, it should populate in here, and then shortly after, oh, I don't think I saved the automation. I didn't. Oops. Shoot. Sorry, my bad. Let me quickly recreate this one. Task is created, and then where is our change date? Change due date, and then days after trigger 1. Okay. Okay. There we go. All right. Now we have an active date. So let's go ahead and just delete this real quick. Set it as closed. Okay. And then we'll put in a new test one. If you guys have questions, by the way, don't hesitate to ask. Okay. And then shortly after here, this should populate as the new due date. It's funny. There it is. Okay. Tomorrow. Okay. And this would come up as a task that you would need to complete. So whatever your guys' process is for this, it could be simply here is, we need to reach out to this person via phone, email. This will trigger that for you and you can get a notification. You can have it as a task within your own CRM that, hey, someone reached out to us and we need to reach out to them within the next 24 hours. Okay. So relatively simple there. And I think that's somewhat helpful when it comes to just following up with the leads that you do have. Okay. And we'll leave this in here just to populate a few leads. Okay. So that's the lead in. And honestly, I think that's all you need when first getting started. So with that being said, don't overcomplicate it. We're looking for simplicity here. We're not looking to overcomplicate this at all. You don't need um, a bunch of different items in here, different columns. Keep it simple. Okay. If you keep it simple, this is going to work out well for you. Okay. Now, from there, after we have the lead in, we're going to add a few extra statuses here. Okay. Because we're going to want to manage these people from a relatively high level. Okay. We're going to rename the close status into 1, and we'll put it as closed 1. Okay. So that'll be one of our closed statuses. We're actually going to add a second closed status as closed lost. Okay. Well, closed lost is just, hey, this person did not sign up as a client. And we're just going to drag this down here. And this will be considered a done status or a closed status. Okay. Very similar, but they will not be marked as overdue when they're closed out. Okay. So relatively similar to a closed status. So whether it's closed, lost, or closed 1, that will go into a closed status when it comes to ClickUp. Okay. Okay, after that, you might have a couple other things. So lead in from there, if you have like a setter call or you're making that initial contact, which is going to be our next status here. Just meaning, hey, we reached out to them. Maybe we booked a call, maybe we didn't. If they're not willing to book a call, we'll kind of just leave them that initial contact. And maybe this is where we enter them into some sort of nurture sequence. This is where a more robust CRM does come in handy because you can automate some of these pieces. But maybe you're just sending manual follow-ups for now, or maybe you're sending just manual resources out to them. Totally fine to do that when you first get started, and you can color this any color that you want. We're going to do this nice little light blue here, but that initial contact has been made and we've at least reached out to them. Maybe they didn't answer. Maybe they didn't answer the text message or the phone call, the email, and we set another due date to follow up with them at a certain point in time. Okay. So initial contact going to be really important. Second piece is going to be call booked. Okay. Now, we reached out to them and they responded to us and they said, yeah, like that actually sounds pretty interesting. I would love to learn a little bit more about your service. Awesome. Book a call with them. Right. And we can go ahead and move this person status to a call booked status, which I think in my opinion is extremely helpful to know who you booked a call with and to be able to make sure that those calls actually happen. Right. So it goes lead in, initial contact, and then call booked. Now, I like to add a column of, of no showed. And sometimes you could just mark this inside of the column itself. Maybe it doesn't need its own status, but it's personally something that I like to add in. But for us, we have a no showed column. That way we can put them in a no show sequence of some sort and follow up with them on a regular basis to try to get them back into a call booked. Okay. Now, if they don't show up, that does happen. You're gonna have no show rates. That's a very real thing when it comes to prospecting for agency clients or clients in general. You're gonna have people that don't show. So it's nice to have a column there and have a column of people that you're like, hey, we need to put them in a sequence in order to follow up with them and be able to get them back on a call booked. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Now, maybe you've booked a call with them and you made the pitch. And this is where, it's really up to you how you want to manage your CRM. But at this point, normally the proposal out. Proposal. Okay, I just want to make sure I spelled that correct. Okay. Normally there's a proposal sent at this stage of some sort. Okay. If we send them a proposal, maybe they need to review it with their team. If you're a savage and you close on the first call, awesome. Love that. You can skip this stage and you just move them to close one. But chances are there's going to be a proposal sent out to them at some point. This is just a really good indicator that proposals at least in their laps. Normally, we move them from call booked to proposal sent after we've sent the proposal. Okay. And then from there, you might have like a negotiation stage of some sort. So you could put a negotiation stage in there as well. That's something that you often do with clients. It's pretty normal inside the agency space to have a negotiation stage where they're having, maybe their lawyers look at the agreement. Maybe they're coming back and saying, hey, like, maybe we cut this service because, we're not quite at that price point yet where we can afford that specific service. So negotiation becomes a really important piece of this as well. And you can enter into negotiation if they come back to you and you need to make some adjustments to your proposal or to your contract, whatever it might be. Okay. So that's the negotiation phase. Okay. And then normally from there, it just goes into close one or close lost. Something that I'm kind of learning about, and my good friend Josh Top shared with me, is starting to enter in some stages of like a certain amount of days until close of like when we feel this prospect is going to close because it really gives you good clarity on what's going to close over a certain period of time. Now he does 7 days, 14 days, and 30 days. I think just for simplicity's sake, because obviously we want to keep things simple on this. We're just gonna do 30 days. Okay? And this is when you're like, hey, we're like 90% sure that this client will close for us. We're gonna have a 30 to close days to close column. That way you can kind of see the revenue that's going to be generated over the next 30 days. Okay. Now, once they close, then of course we'll move them into a closed one. If they don't close, normally we give this like, in my opinion, like 30 days to close. Or if they just tell you flat out, hey, we're going a different direction, then you move them into a close lost column, or we just continue to follow up with them and keep them in the negotiation column until they get back to us and they say no, or they move forward with it. Okay, and we'll go ahead and save this here. I don't know why it's not letting me save. There we go. Cool. And so we can progress these people through our different columns here. And you'll notice that these columns will populate as you move them through. So if there's not a populated column here, it will not show up, right? So you'll notice that the only two columns that are here right now are lead in and contract. That's completely normal. It will populate as you move people through their statuses. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Like this is, in my opinion, like one of the most simple CRMs that you guys could possibly set up for your agency when it comes to prospecting. Like I said, very much starter. This is not something that I'm like, this is going to last you long terms. Eventually, you are going to have to move to a more robust CRM as you're getting into more lead flow, as you're getting into having a setter or another closer on your team. That becomes extremely important, and this will not last. But really great for maybe agencies doing under 10K and their lead volume is, hey, we're getting, 10, 15 leads per month and we don't need to manage, hundreds of leads, on on a weekly basis. Okay. So, really good starting point. Do you guys have questions on that? If you have questions, drop them in the chat. Would be happy to answer anything that you guys do have on that. But pretty much that is the aspect of the prospecting CRM. Okay. Relatively straightforward, relatively simple. And what I'll do is I'll actually create a template for this real fast. And that way you guys can go ahead and use it if you need it. Let's populate a few clients real quick or a few prospects. Okay. Prospect one, prospect two. And as I'm doing this, you guys can ask questions if you do have them. It doesn't have to be on ClickUp or the CRM. It can be on anything. If you guys have questions on what to get for dinner, I'm really good at that, and I can help you guys point you guys in the right direction on what to get for dinner tonight. If this was helpful, let me know. If this wasn't helpful, then just you can just keep it to yourself. That funny? Yeah. You like that one? You can let me know as well. You can just keep it to yourself. Okay. And so what I'll do is I'll kind of move some of these prospects into other areas here, and then I'll create a template on this, and then I'll drop it in the chat for you guys. That way you can have it. What are your thoughts on using Notion for client project management? Since I am slightly affiliated with ClickUp, I would say Notion is the worst option for you. No, I'm just kidding. Dylan, Notion is great, man. If I didn't go with ClickUp, I would have gone with Notion. I think Notion is really great. It is a very robust tool. It's got a lot of capabilities, but is more of a blank template, and uh, you really have to customize everything yourself and how you want it. Versus ClickUp has a few more frameworks, right? And you have the ability to still customize, but also it's like you're kind of building within some frameworks that already exist inside of ClickUp. Whereas in Notion, you are building like from the ground up. Like there's no foundation. It's like almost like a sandbox and you have to develop everything yourself, right? So I love Notion. I actually use Notion more as like a what I would consider like a notebook. Anytime I do any like reading or any consumption of material, whether that's a YouTube video, maybe it's a podcast, books, events. I have an entire Notion like library that I'll fill out and document kind of all of my learnings, all of my findings. It's an incredible tool. I love Notion. I use it in tandem with ClickUp, but more on the personal side than I do on the business side. ClickUp, on the business, we're completely integrated into ClickUp, and then I have some personal stuff over on the Notion side. So that's what I use it for. I think it's a great tool. I know a lot of agencies that use Notion as their project management software as well. So there's no right or wrong answer there. I'm just very familiar with ClickUp. I've been using ClickUp now for about 2 years. And this is where we have all of our clients. This is where we set up all of our templates. So it's really nice to be able to have, something that I can share with other people, and Notion can share as well. We just decided to go with ClickUp. So that's my thoughts on client project management. So hopefully that's helpful, man. Okay, so let me turn this into a template real quick, and then that way you guys can utilize it. I'll drop it in chat, and you guys can have it forever and always. And you can utilize this now within your agency if you'd like it. Okay. And I'm going to save this template, prospecting CRM. And we're going to turn on public sharing here. And we're going to save. Okay. And let me drop this for you guys real fast. If you guys have questions on it, feel free to drop those. Sky, what's good, man? With services like Notion. What is this thing? Okay, there we go. With services like Notion, I always run into the friction of client onboarding, convincing a client to use Notion, educating the client on use it, uh, how to use it is a hassle, especially if they aren't tech. So here's kind of my thoughts on integrating your clients into your own project management. It usually doesn't work. 90% of the time, it's just not going to work because it's not what they're utilizing on a daily basis. So, with that being said, normally, like the only things that we're showing them on the project management side is very minimal stuff. Like it's almost optional, and we don't expect them to uh, navigate our project management software. So normally we're not going to have like their own portal, their own dashboard, because the adherence to it just it's just not worth it, right? Like nobody actually follows through on it. It almost feels useless, right? And so we use it completely internal, and we don't even show people, the inner workings of our project management software. Normally for us, and Sky, I know that your service is quite a little bit different. It's just I've yet to see something that has worked. Like we've tried it across so many different project management softwares, and just nobody really utilizes it, right? And so when they're not inside of the program every day like you are, the adherence just isn't there. So I agree with you. I just don't see the point in it. All right, so let me browse my templates real quick. This is going to be the prospecting CRM, and let me share it with you guys. Yeah, Basecamp. It's funny because we used to use Basecamp in our agency, and we tried the same thing, and it just didn't work very well. There's a ClickUp template for you guys if you want to use it. Change it, edit it, do whatever you want with it. There for you if you need it. Now, this basic CRM template here, this is the internal CRM. This is going to be in our video tomorrow. Okay, so if you guys are curious on how to manage your clients internally, how to make sure that your contract dates are staying up to date, making sure you're not letting contracts fall through. This is one of the biggest areas of opportunity I see for agencies often is that they let their cash flow cycles fall to their due dates, right? And so if you don't know when your contract due dates are coming to an end, you're going to have a really hard time keeping your cash flow afloat. Okay. So having something that can manage those things, your contracts and your contract due dates, is going to be really important for you. So if you guys are wanting to learn a little bit more about this basic CRM template, one, subscribe, turn on notifications. So when we post our video tomorrow, we can you can learn all about this. Okay, it's going to be a really cool tool. This we actually, so I don't use the CRM I just taught inside of our own business. We have an outside CRM because we manage too many leads. But this we use every single day. Okay, this is something that we actively use, and I think will be very applicable to a lot of the agencies and even Sky with your service. Like I know you have contracts um, with a lot of your businesses that you work with. So you can utilize maybe a similar framework. So with that being said, you'll want to check out that video tomorrow. Tyler will probably drop that between noon and 2 tomorrow. After we have a few more edits we have to take care of on it, and then we have to make a thumbnail. But outside of that, it should drop sometime between noon and 2. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. If you're tuning in from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you'll only be able to see that specific video on YouTube. So you have to come on over and come and hang out over there. Yeah, you got to subscribe, and just do it. It's not that hard. It's just one button. Okay. So if you guys are interested in that, that will drop tomorrow afternoon. We won't go too in depth on that today, but this is what you can expect, and it's a really useful tool. And you can apply it to Notion as well. It's just you just have to take some of the frameworks from Click, apply it over to Notion. So awesome, guys. Any questions? Anything agency related? Any questions? Anything on CRM related? We're actually revamping our own CRM right now. My good friend Adam Artemis is helping us with that. Super excited about it, and we'll probably do a video when we have that built out because it will be very useful for people that are in the agency space to kind of see how we manage an actual CRM. We're moving over to go high level. And so we're really excited about it. It's gonna have some really cool capabilities. So stay tuned for some of that. Any content that you guys want to see over the next, say, 3 months that we can help bring to the forefront for you guys, give you some clarity on, would be great to know what you guys are seeing on your side and stuff that you guys need help with. Drop me a couple comments below. Would love to help out any way I can. Are you integrating the CRM portion with any other third-party services? So, our external CRM. So the new CRM that we're building out with Go High Level or like Close, yes, 100%. We'll be integrating SMS. So I believe we'll be using Twilio. I think Go High Level actually has an internal one now, so we might use that instead. Adam is going to go figure that out for us, but the internal um, or that CRM specifically will be using Twilio for SMS sequences. So SMS sequences as far as exactly what texts get sent out when someone books a call with us. So we'll have confirmation messages going through text and email, and then we'll be having follow up text and email messages going up to make sure that that person shows up to the call. So like 48 hours before the call, we'll have email and text that go out. We'll have 24 hours before the call, but 4 hours before the call, and then we'll have 15 minutes before the call. All automated, all sending out, making sure that that person comes to the call. Because one thing that we see on our side is like show rate is not like it's still hit or miss. So we're trying to increase that show rate, and a lot of these automated confirmations will go out to make sure that that happens. And if for some reason they can't make it, then they'll go into a sequence that will hopefully get them to rebook. Right. So that's one thing that we're utilizing within our CRM as far as like integrations go. I'm trying to think if there's really any other ones. We'll have a dialer through GoHive, but most CRMs have a dialer now, so not something that is uncommon. So it's not an integration, but I would say like that's the main integration that we'll be including inside of our CRM. Sky is going to be Twilio for text and SMS, or for SMS and email, which email is actually sent out through Go High Level. You don't need a Twilio account for that. It's just the SMS side. Dylan asking a bit off topic question here, but with the rise of short form content, what's your thoughts on everyone starting short form editing agencies? And do you see the agency model sticking around? Yeah, absolutely, man. Like it's just where content's going right now. Now, here's the thing there's a lot of short form content agencies out there, but very few of them are doing it extremely well. So, with that being said, there's still great opportunity there for short form content agencies to get started and to start rolling. So if you're interested in getting into that, yeah, like absolutely, I think there's a big push, but there's very few people that are doing it extremely well right now. Okay, and ones that start to understand some of the psychology and some of the marketing behind why certain organic content hits harder than other organic content. People that can understand why Hermosi's videos get so much traction, why Gary Vaynerchuk's videos get so much traction. You know, the people that understand that are going to have a much better time in that sphere than others. And I'll say with that, I mean, there's a big shift coming here right now because a lot of your what I would consider like internet gurus, whether you like them or hate them, they are pushing that specific agency model because it's relatively easy to get off the ground. It really only takes editors and maybe like an account manager. So these systems for it are relatively simple. It really comes down to your ability to produce volume, your ability to produce on time, and to be able to show traction on the organic side and actually see some growth. So, with all that being said, yes, 100% ton of opportunity when it comes to short form editing agencies. For me, I think if I were to start like a content editing agency, it wouldn't just be around short form. I would try to take a more holistic approach to all content. So, getting people to start creating content like live streaming, right? And then that filtering into more short form content. That seems, that's the strategy that we utilize. So, I would probably speak a little bit more on that strategy, and that's where I would go to. But, there are still a lot of people that are wanting to shoot and edit short form content. So, definitely not off the table. But there's a lot of people doing it, but it's still lucrative. Still has the ability to there's still opportunity in that specific niche. So I wouldn't avoid it by any means if you're interested in going down that route. What other questions do we have? Comments, questions, concerns, epiphanies, takeaways. I got through this material a little bit faster than I thought I would. So if you're just joining in, if you're just tuning into the live stream, go back. You can do that. It's kind of nice. You can go back, rewatch everything that we've talked about today. Relatively basic CRM build out today. Video dropping tomorrow. If you guys are just now tuning in, on a second CRM build out. So there's an internal CRM for clients, and then we have a prospecting CRM, which I just talked about. So go back, rewatch that if you guys have questions on it. Cool. We'll wait for a couple more questions to come in here. If there's none, no worries. We'll jam next week. We'll be back next week. Actually, will we be back next week is the real question, because Agency Founders is next week. And I don't know. And it starts on Thursday. So I probably will not do a live stream on Thursday next week, but maybe I'll fit it in a little bit early. Maybe on Monday. I'll fit in a live stream because I do want to get one out next week because I'm trying to do one each and every week. So maybe we'll do that, and then we'll be back on the regular cadence of Thursdays. So any topics that you guys want me to cover on future agency therapies, would be curious to hear from you guys. Cool, cool, cool. Sweet. Well, we're coming up to an hour now. If you guys don't have any other questions, don't forget, like and subscribe. I've said it a few times now, but I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you for spending a little bit of time your Thursday night here with me. Hope you guys will come back and hang out with us soon. And yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.